Mom spent my wedding fund for my golden sister because she thinks no one wants to marry me, so I banned her from my wedding. My parents had 2 children, my sister, who is 22 years old, and me, also 22 years old. From the day my sister was born, it felt like I became invisible. Everyone was drawn to her and wanted to play with her, while I kept to myself and didn't like being around people much. I liked having my own space from a young age. My sister always got what she wanted, while I had to make do with what my parents thought was best for me. I rarely asked them for anything, but when I did, I almost never got a good answer. Because of this, I started to slowly dislike my sister. We were so different from each other. In high school, I was seen as the nerd, while she was the popular one. Most people didn't even believe we were related, and sometimes she would say that I embarrassed her. That really hurt me. My sister easily made friends and felt comfortable in new places, while I needed time to adjust. I was also not the type to start a conversation with someone new. I had talents, but I was very shy, so only a few close friends really knew me. My best friend, a 27-year-old male who was also socially awkward, always told me I was an amazing person. His life was different from mine because his parents loved him a lot, so he didn't have the same issues with his personality that I did. I was always nervous and found it hard to trust people because I thought they would not see the real me and would treat me like my family did. I had a really tough time growing up, and my best friend was the only one who seemed to understand me. We were both just kids, and if he had known better, maybe he could have helped me more. You can imagine how hard it was for a teenager with these struggles to grow up into an adult. It was a recipe for disaster. When I look back now, I feel embarrassed by the things I did to get attention and make people like me. I did things that were the exact opposite of who I really was because I wasn't comfortable with myself. Meanwhile, my sister kept blossoming and was still the golden child. At the time, I didn't think my parents understood what they were doing to me or how much it hurt, but I still blame them for not being there for me. Someone should have noticed that I was struggling, but they were too busy with my sister, their favorite. Over the years, we drifted apart. I was not close to my sister, and it is easy to see why. I was mad at my parents and more jealous of her. I thought she should have noticed that she got all the attention and could have shared some of it with me, or at least said something to our parents. Instead, she enjoyed the attention and laughed at me with her friends. But my nerdy side worked in my favor because I earned a full scholarship and did really well in school and later in my job. Before then, I was not ready for marriage or any relationship because I wanted to fix myself first and start to love myself. I realized that I could not love someone else if I did not love myself. I could not get to know someone and care for them if I did not know who I was and care for myself. After I did that, I met my fiancé. Last year, the favorite child got married, and as you can guess, my parents paid for everything, even her honeymoon. My mom said they were going all out for my sister's wedding because they were worried I would not get married. They wanted to make it special if this was the only wedding they would ever have. That did not even hurt me because I had a boyfriend. When I got engaged, I went to my parents' house to tell them. They did not seem as happy as they were for my sister, but that did not bother me anymore. They congratulated me and then mentioned that they had spent all their money on my sister's wedding last year and could not help with mine. They also said they did not know I was in any serious relationship. That was the moment I got really upset, but I said nothing to them. I no longer believed that they did not know they were hurting me because they kept doing it over and over and expected me to just deal with it. When I got home, I tore up the invitation cards I'd saved for them and my sister. When they asked for the date and place of the wedding, I changed the subject. I think my sister saw my wedding on social media and told my parents. They were angry that they did not know the date of my wedding or were even invited to it. I told them that space was limited, so only the most important people were invited. That made things worse, but I was just being honest. I did not think they were the most important people in my life, and the wedding was small, so I wanted to have the most important people with me. Though I can admit that I also wanted to get back at them too, if I'm being really honest. I did not care that they were mad at me. It would not be the first time, but this time they did not seem willing to let it go. My mom and sister found my new house where I had moved in with my husband and came to yell at me. I call it yelling because I do not think they planned to have a calm talk. All they did was scream at me, so I asked them to leave and told them not to come back unless they were ready to act like grown-ups. I left them and went to my room, locking the door behind me. When I came out a few hours later, I saw that they had met my husband and he had asked them to wait for me. I was upset that he asked them to wait because I did not want to talk to them at all. I knew he did it because he had always wanted me to make up with my family. He said that if I could do that, then I would heal completely. He also did not like how I acted when my family was mentioned, so he wanted me to feel comfortable and really happy. I understood him, but I was being stubborn. My mom started to yell at me again, and then my husband stepped in and told her to stop. He told her that the only reason he asked them to stay was because he knew it was the right thing to do. But if she did not behave properly, she and my sister would have to leave, and he would not try to get us to talk again. My mom knew he was serious, so she calmed down. I told them that if they really wanted to talk, then the whole family had to be there, and my dad was missing. So it was either he came now or we would talk later. They left because my dad could not come that day. They returned during the weekend, this time with my dad. I told my fiancé my story, and he seemed to love me even more despite all the mistakes I made trying to fit in. I love him with all my heart, and I am thankful to him for showing me what love is and how to love. He helped me come out of my shell, and now I do not hold back on anything. I know who I am, and I love myself. He was more disappointed and angry that he wasn't invited to my wedding. I told him he had no right to be upset because he was never there for me. They always neglected me and made me feel like there was something wrong with me, while my younger sister was held as the standard. I always had to sacrifice for her, and they had no idea how much that affected me. I struggled so much and was anxious all the time. I didn't know how to speak up for myself or have a mind of my own because I thought I wasn't supposed to have a say. They also taught my sister to treat me badly, and they never corrected her. This was confirmed at her wedding. They paid for it in full, and my mother even commented that they did so because they weren't sure I would ever get married. They were always insensitive to how I felt and made me feel like I didn't deserve to be a part of the family. It wasn't just about my sister's wedding. It was about how they had treated me since she was born. At some point, I craved their attention, but I never got it because my sister had it all. I gave them specific examples of how they treated me differently and how it made me feel. All of that contributed to my decision not to invite them to my wedding. I didn't think I needed people who constantly caused me pain on one of the happiest days of my life. I also let my sister know how I felt about her and the way she treated me. They felt ashamed and apologized. My sister admitted that she treated me poorly because she was jealous of me. I was stunned. What could she possibly be jealous of? She explained that she wasn't as smart as I was, and because I always did well in school and we weren't close, she didn't know how to ask me for help. This made her angry, so she treated me badly. That was news to me because I would have gladly helped her, even if it was just to cultivate a healthy relationship. We all cried and made up. My husband was so glad. After they left, he told me that I was finally free of hurt and pain, and now I could truly live.